Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Sana Fatma. I am working as a senior registrar in Medical Unit 2. Today we will discuss about the cardiovascular history taking. As you all know, a good history supports the criteria. There are different criteria for different diseases. If you take a good history, then you can reach on a proper diagnosis of the patient. Even you can reach the criteria of the patient, that you meet some major criteria or some minor criteria. You can differentiate between all these on the basis of history. So, starting with the history, first of all, you should introduce yourself with your name, and then the purpose of this is to build a relationship with the patient, and then take information about the patient details, patient name, and his date of birth, and then explain him or her to take history, that why you are taking history. Take consent from the patient, and then if the patient is unconscious or he cannot speak and you have to take history from the attendant, then you will choose a attendant which is who is very close to him, so that he or she knows all about the patient's history, and then you should ensure that the patient is comfortable. Proceed with the different parts of the history. These includes presenting complaint in patient's own language, and then history of present complaint, also include past medical history, drug history, family history, social history, systemic inquiry, and summarizing all these. And then you will have to make a provisional diagnosis based on your history. These are some major complaints with which a patient can come in our hospital. These are related to cardiovascular system. These include dyspnea, that means shortness of breath, fatigue, head reeling, palpitations, edema, and chest pain. First of all, history of presenting complaint. So, first of all, you should know that while you were taking about the presenting complaint, you should know about the onset of the disease. That when did the symptoms started? Was the onset acute or gradual? Whenever you take history about the onset, you will ask about the complaint, that whether it is acute or it is gradual. Then you will know about the duration. Onset and duration, these are the 2 points about which you will take a 1 minute and ask exactly about them, and will note in the presenting complaint. And duration is, you will mention it in minutes, in hours, days, weeks, months, or years. Then you will take what is the severity of the disease, that if the symptom is chest pain, how bad is it on the scale of 1 to 10, means you will ask the patient, okay, if you categorize the pain from 1 to 10, then tell that which is the severity of the pain, that is it 1 or it is 10 or it may be 5, 4, 3. It will tell you about the severity of the pain. Then you will ask about the course of the symptom, that is the symptom worsening, is it improving, or it is continuing to fluctuate. You will ask about all these things. Then you will ask about intermittent or continuous. That is the symptom always present, or it does it disappear, or it come and go? What is the pattern of the symptom? Then you will ask about the precipitating factors. Are there any obvious trigger for the symptoms? Is there any precipitating factor for the symptom? That is, for example, patient can have chest pain after exertion. So this is the exertion is the precipitating factor for the chest pain. So what are the relieving factor? So with which things this is relieved? Like chest pain is relieved by taking nitroglyceride NSAID tablets. So does anything appear to improve the symptom? For example, glycerol trinitrate spray. Chest pain of cardiac origin improves with this glycerol trinitrate sprays or NSAID tablets. So further we will ask about associated features. If there are any associated symptoms that appear along with this main presenting complaint, for example, fever, cough, malaise, anything can be associated with the main symptom. Then we will have to take history of that symptom also in detail if any symptom is also present. Then we will ask about the previous episodes. Okay, that patient does patient had any previous such episode in the past? uh, Means if he is having chest pain for 2 days, then we will ask him whether he any time he experienced chest pain like this in the past. It can be present 1 month back or 1 year back. Then we will note down it in the history. So if the presenting complaint is pain, so as we all know that if the presenting complaint is pain, that we can tell about where is the site of the pain, that where from where it originates. Like we know chest pain is always in the um, mm, thoracic in the substernal area, and usually it is present there, and then onset, it is usually sudden in onset, but it can be gradual. And then we will ask about the character of the pain, that whether it is. Then we will ask about the character of the pain, that whether it is sharp, it is dull aching pain, burning pain. Chest pain is usually very discomforting pain, crushing pain. Usually it is character is crushing, और जैसे एक बोझ होता है आपकी चेस्ट पे, तो उस तरह का पेन होता है, प्रेसिंग पेन and crushing pain, like this character of the chest pain is like usually like this. And what is the radiation? Pain, from where pain starts and where does it radiate? We will ask about it. And we all know that chest pain radiates from the chest to the jaw. And if there are any associated features of this pain, and we will ask about it also. Then we will ask about the time course of the symptom. That is, this pain is worsening, it is improving, it is fluctuating, it is which time of the day it is becoming more severe, and when it is becoming less severe. Then what are the exacerbating and relieving factors? We will ask about them. Anything that make the pain worse or better. And what is the severity of the pain on the scale 0 to 10? That you can tell about by numbering that how severe is the pain. We will ask about the past medical history, disease or risk factor. So We will ask about past medical history. We will ask about angina. That is the patient and had any chest pain in the previous and any exertional chest pain that it with exertion any chest pain occurred. Is there any shortness of breath patient has developed on exertion or on lying flat? Does the patient have any paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea that patient lies down and at night he has to wake up due to pain or due to difficulty in breathing? And or a patient may have a history of orthopnea in which patient does have that sensation of shortness, breathlessness on lying flat. And we will also take history about the myocardial infarction. That is, the patient has ever had myocardial infarction, that he has any chest pain and for which he remained admitted in the hospital or undergone any bypass graft or stents. We can have ask about the history of atrial fibrillation. We will ask about that does patient has irregularity in his or her pulse rate or in his or her heart rate, skip beats. These are usually taken in the arrhythmias of the heart. We can ask about the history of stroke, that in the past he has any such history. And then history of the peripheral vascular disease. We will ask about any cold peripheries, about blackening of the fingers, about pain in the peripheries of the peripheral parts of the body. We will ask about this. Peripheral vascular disease will usually present with the gangrenes of the peripheral, means foot or arms, hands, etc. We will ask about the history of hypertension. And hypertension, we can ask about is ever he has undergone, he or she has checked blood pressure, and is there is any hypertension. And if it is present, then we will ask about in detail about it, and uh, ask about what medication he has used about it or not. And then the hyperlipidemia. In history, basically, we can ask about that in the past, what is the weight of the patient, and if he is obese, then most likely he has hyperlipidemia. Then we will ask about the rheumatic fever, that in childhood ever he had fever along with shortness of breath or joint pain. We can take history about this. Then we will ask about other medical condition like hyperthyroidism, and that whether he has any such symptoms of hyperthyroidism like tremors, like restlessness, tachycardia, and increased appetite, diarrhea. All these symptoms are due to can be due to hyperthyroidism. Then we will ask about the surgical history, that any has the patient undergone ever under bypass graft, stents, or valve replacement. Then we will ask the patient about acute hospital admissions, that ever he was admitted in the hospital before, and if was admitted, then for what problem he was admitted. We will ask about the cardiovascular medication history. The patient ever used for these. We will ask in detail about the usage of beta blocker, calcium channel blocker, ACE inhibitors, diuretics, statins, antiplatelets, anticoagulant, glyceryl trinitrate spray, other regular medication, contraceptive pills. Usually, contraceptive pills increase the risk of thromboembolic diseases, so we have to ask about this. And then we will also ask about in detail about the NSAIDs, aspirin usage, because they may lead to the peptic ulcer disease. So we have to ask about the detailed history of medication. When we are taking history, then we should ask about the any allergies to food, cosmetics, any some medications, and climate changes, toxins, etc. Family history is very important. Usually, the cardiovascular diseases run in the family. Family history is always significant if it occurs at a young age in the parents or in close relatives. Age should be less than 50. MI, any history of MI, hypertension, thrombophilia. We will ask about that does the parent of the patient are alive and they are in good health. If their disease sensitivity determines age and cause of the death. Any explained deaths in the young relative can be due to long QT syndrome and some other channelopathies. So we will have will also take a history about family history about the cardiac diseases. Then comes the social and personal history. As we all know that smoking, if a patient, we will ask about smoking, as it is a risk factor for cardiovascular diseases, then we will ask about in detail about it that how many cigarettes a day patient takes and how many years have they smoked for, and then we will ask about the alcohol history that how many units a week, type and volume, strength of the alcohol, this recreational drugs usage, cocaine, coronary artery vasospasm, and this cocaine leads to the coronary artery vasospasm. That's why we will ask about this in detail. Then is patient obese? He takes fatty foods, salt intake. These all increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. So we will ask about all of these. Then exercise. We will ask about the patient about the baseline levels of the patient day-to-day activity. Then what are the living situation? Does the patient lives in a house and in bungalow? What are the adaptations that stairs are present and not in the house? So we can come if a patient has MI and he cannot go upstairs. We will have to, if we know about the this about this, then we can manage the patient in a better way. Then we will ask who lives with the patient so that we can know that patient what is the patient's sport at home and any carer input, what level of care do they. We will ask about the occupation of the patient, that how that what is the occupation of the patient and how does it may also lead some sedentary jobs may also increase the cardiovascular risk, and we will also come to know about the living status of the patient, so can we prescribe the drugs to them according to their income. In systemic review, whichever system is lapsing, that if we miss anything, then if we go in detail the about taking systemic inquiry one by one, then if any symptom is missed by the patient, then we can come to know about asking them in details in systemic inquiry. So we will systemic inquiry involves performing a brief screen for symptoms of the other body systems which already has not been asked. So this may pick up on symptoms of the patient failed to mention in the presenting complaint. Some of these symptoms may be relevant to the diagnosis, that is reduced urine output in dehydration, and choosing with the which symptoms to ask about depending on the presenting complaint and your level of experience. Then in cardiovascular disease, you have to ask about the chest pain, about palpitation, about dyspnea, about syncope, orthopnea, peripheral edema, and in respiratory system, You should ask about again dyspnea, cough, sputum, wheeze, hemoptysis, and chest pain. This in respiratory system, chest pain may be due to pleuritis. Pleuritic chest pain occurs in pneumonia, and in cardiovascular, chest pain occurs due to myocardial infarction or angina. Then in gastrointestinal system, we will ask about the appetite of the patient, any nausea, vomiting, any complaint of indigestion, dysphagia, weight loss, abdominal pain, bowel habits. Then urinary system, we will ask about the volume of the urine passed, frequency, dysuria, urgency, incontinence. And in CNS, we will ask about in vision, headache, motor or sensory disturbance, loss of consciousness, confusion. In musculoskeletal system, we will ask about the bone and joint pain, muscular pain. Dermatology, we will ask about the rashes, skin breaks, ulcers, lesions. So, if we differentiate between a cardiac chest pain and a non-cardiac chest pain, we can differentiate this on the basis of history. How can we differentiate between the basis of history? That ischemic chest pain is located centrally and it is diffused, and non-cardiac chest pain can be peripheral and it is usually localized. And then chest pain is radiated to the jaw, a neck, shoulder, or the arm. Occasionally it goes to the back, while other pains don't have any radiation. And then character of the chest pain, it is usually tight, squeezing, choking, or pressing pain, while other pains can be sharp, catching, and stabbing pain. What are the precipitating factors? In ischemic pain, it is usually precipitated by the exertion, emotions, and while other non-cardiac chest pain can be due to spontaneously. They are not related to exertion. They are provoked by posture. Usually muscular pains are due to some kind of posture changes, and due to they may be related with the respiration. Any pleuritic chest pain will occur during deep inspiration, and same and there can be relieving factor. Ischemic pain is always often relieved by the by rest, and it is usually responsive to the nitrates, while other chest pains are not relieved by such measures. And chest pain of ischemic origin can be associated with the breathlessness, while can be other chest pain can be are not related to the breathlessness. A good history can locate the disease. You can see that if a patient has a history, a good history, then we can locate that he has left ventricular infarct. How can we come to know about the history? In this case, patient will have a history of shortness of breath. Patient will have a history of orthopnea. He or she may have a history of paroxysmal nocturnal dyspnea. These all suggest us that the patient has left heart failure. And for right heart failure, patient can give a history of edema, peripheral edema, and raised JVP, and ascites, tenderness at tender hepatomegaly. Like pulmonary, in a pulmonary embolism, patient will have give a clear sudden history of shortness of breath. He may have previous history of swelling of the legs. So, summarizing all this history, uh, 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 you will always have to summarize what the patient has told you about their presenting complaint. Then ask about the patient whether it is the total history, or he or she will add on in this history. So if patient has missed anything, patient will tell about that. So this allows you to check your understanding regarding everything that the patient has told you. It also allows the patient to correct any inaccurate information and extend further on certain aspects. Once you have summarized, ask the patient if there is anything else that you have overlooked. Then continue to periodically summarize as you move through the rest of the history. Thank you for your time.